Hello and welcome to the third tutorial of my Spring Framework course. In this lesson we will talk about forms. We want to create a simple web form for submit, for example, enter name, last name, and so on. And if we enter the form properly, we will have some response. And if we don't submit the form properly, we will have some warning messages. And I have created simple. I hope that you already know how to create a Spring Framework project. Let me show you the POM. In the POM, we have the properties like in the previous tutorials. We don't have any changes, but I have added some more extra dependencies because we will using a standard tag library, and I have added these three dependencies: JSTL, taglib standard implementation, and JSTL implementation. Of course, maybe the best way you can find them by artifact ID on the Maven repository. You can also type from here, which I don't recommend. You can go, it is easier to copy and paste them from the Maven repository. And of course, you will have in the description, you will have the source code, or you can copy from my POM XML file, which you will find in my project. And also I have two more extra dependencies. Okay, servlet and servlet API we have used in the previous tutorials. For the validation, we will use Checkbox validation API, and Hibernate validator. But be aware, if you are downloading the Hibernate validator, do not use version 7, because until now I know that it's still not possible to connect Hibernate validator 7 with Spring Framework, and that's why I am using version 6.2.1. This is the version which you need for this tutorial. Okay, the rest of the dependencies are the same. Here is my complete POM XML, and we are done with that. And also I have created configuration and two classes that we have used the same like we used in the previous tutorial. It is Spring Framework configuration with view resolver and the resource handler. We will not use JavaScript in this tutorial, we will just use some CSS, but without JavaScript in this tutorial. And web app initializer, which is completely the same like in the previous two tutorials. And this class we will have an every application, and we will not change it probably. And now let's create a new class. And first we need to create a package. Inside the package I will need one class, but the name of the package it will be the model. And inside that package I will create a class. We want to create a form. That means that class can be some form information, for example. Form information. Let's click on finish. And now inside we can create some fields. For example, string first name. I forgot the private. And also private string last name. We can have a gender. Also a country would be nice. Private string country. We can write some message. Private string message, and we can create one list of something. For example, if it is developer form, he can have some skills. Private, it will be a list of string, and the name of the list will be programming skills. And I will just import list from the, but it is Java util. Where is Java? Okay, here it is. Don't import another one or will be problem. Now it will be a form. For example, we will have a form to we will need to fill the form with these fields, which is okay. But we just don't want to fill the form. We need to do it properly. And some of the fields, not all, but it will have some rules. For example, first name, it needs to have at least for example 2 letters, and for that we will use a size from the Checkbox validation library, and inside what we will write, we can write a minimum. That means a minimum number of letters, for example 2, and maximum will be 15 letters. That's just one example. And we also can type some message. If, for example, we don't submit this field properly, we will write minimum 2 and maximum 15 letters. That should be fine, and the similar thing we can do for the last name. For example, here minimum can be 3, or 4, for example, 4. But John Doe, it will be 3 because John Doe is my favorite and he only has 3 letters. Okay, minimum 3 and maximum 15 letters. For the gender, this is a string. Also, if we, for example, type only, we don't type anything. We want to prevent empty string. We have not empty annotation, but here you need to be careful. For example, if we use a Hibernate from the they are the same, but from the Hibernate validator, these libraries are deprecated, and for that we need to use Checkbox validation. You need to be careful about that. That means that gender cannot be empty string. Okay, for the country we will not gonna use that, and also we can use the same annotation for the message, but I forgot also some messages inside. Not empty, it doesn't have. The point is not empty if that we cannot leave a empty field. And we can write only gender is required, and the similar thing I will do for the message. I will just copy from here, I will paste it, and instead of gender I will type message is required. Okay, we don't need to use validation or to all fields. Which fields, of course, we can implement some validation of all or multiple validation, but for now it's okay. This country and programming skills will not have any validation rules. Okay, we forgot getters and setters. Now let's create them. We will not we'll use default constructor, but we will need, let's select all getters and setters. Let's generate, perfectly fine. And I can use Control Shift and F to organize the code, and I can save this class, which is, it works fine. Okay, now I haven't created a controller, and I can do it now. I can create a controller class, but first I need a package, and the name will be controller, and I can call it, it can be class, and of course it can be main, home, or even form controller. Why not? We will use form. We can call it form controller. And let's finish. Here is our form controller, and we need an annotation of controller. And let's create some functions. First thing that we want to do, let's define the home page. String. We can call it index page, for example. And we will return index. That means that we will need some index JSP, but I haven't created. Let's close configuration. Let me close the model. Okay, web info. I still haven't I didn't, let me just see the configuration. Okay, I need a views folder. I set the prefix that web info views for the my JSP files, but I haven't created. I will do it later. I will just close the configuration now. But it's not enough. Index page. For example, we want to have some form, and we need to communicate with a JSP. We need to use some Java variables from Java. Like an object or simple variable, and to send them to our JSP page. For that we need to use a model map, which is our connection between Java class and JSP files. I don't need annotation, just I need a model map. Where is here it is, model map, and I will just call it map. And in the index page we want to send the object of form information, and let's create one form for information. How we will call it? We will just call it information equals to new form information will be good. And this information we want to send to JSP file. And how we gonna do that? For example, we need to put that. We will use model map. We will just put, and we have a string as a key and object as a value. First key needs to be string, and that will be how which name this information object. For example, we will write information as a value, but we need to specify how with which name. We need to specify with which name this information will be seen in the JSP, but we can use the same name, information. That will be good. But before, because in the let me return on the for information. First thing that we need to do, we will have a gender. For the gender we need to use we can use some enum or the map, and we need to put them in the map. I will use, for example, we can use some map. It can be simple hash map or linked hash map. Let's use linked hash map. The key will be string and the value will be string. We will call it gender, and it will be equals to new linked hash map string, which is perfect. Now inside, this is simple hash map that we have used in the core Java console applications, and now inside this gender we can just put we will just put two things. The key will be string and the value will be string. It will be female and female. We want to enter just the options for the gender, because we will not input male or female. We will have some option to check one of these two fields, and the same thing we will do for the male. I will just okay. And also, that means that this gender we need to also put in the we want this gender to be recognized in the model map. We also need to put it in the model map. We want to put this linked hash map, and we can use gender as a text, and the value will be gender. That means what we did here, we sent to the JSP page information object that we have created, and also this linked hash map. We send them to our index.jsp page, which is okay for now. That will be all for our index page. But my mistake, it will not. We forgot to add some mapping. Request mapping. Okay, this will be our home page. The value will be slash, and method will be get. Okay, I will show you one more thing for mapping, but let's start. But that will be a home page where we need to submit the form. But we also need to create a page when, if we submit the form properly, we want to get some response. And I will create another function, string welcome page. Okay, I can copy mapping from here, but there is one key difference. Okay, here slash will be welcome, but here we are expecting some response. That means that when we submit the form, we want to get a response. That means that it will not be a get, it will be a post. And now we also need some parameters. First, what we will post. we will post some information, and that means that we will need information. We will need model attribute to explain what we will post. Model attribute, and that attribute needs to have a name, and that will be information. That will be form information, like in the previous function. It will be information, of course, and we need to type what object will be. It will be form information, and we can also here we can call it or info or information. We can call it info only, and I will use in the new line also. But what we also want to do, I can also put this in the new line. Before also we want to check if the object is valid or not. First thing that we need to use validated from the Spring Framework annotation. The validated is used for to check if our object is to confirm if our object is valid or not. And we also need one library. I will do it in the new line. We need to check if object that we have entered in our submit form if have some errors or not. For that we will use errors from the Spring Framework validation library, and we will call it errors. And the last thing that we will need also, we will need a model map. Okay, I can return it here. Okay, now it looks better. And let's start with the body. Of course, we have an error because it requires to return some string. First thing that we need to do before, first thing that we will do, we need to open our form information object. All of these fields, we need to add them to the map. And let's start with first name, last name. All of these 6 fields we need to put in the map. Okay, let me create one empty string, and I will create form information info object. Info. Okay, and I will copy this. We have 6 fields. I need to copy it 5 times. I will do it now. Paste. Okay, we have 3 of them. I will select them all. I will copy them, and I will paste them here. Okay, now let's start. First name, and we'll use info dot get first name, and we will do the same for the other. We have info dot get last name, and here it will be last name. It here first name, we can just give it a name, but it is better to have the same name. It will be easier for us in the JSP file. And the next field, it will be, let me see, we have our gender. Where is info dot get gender? Here it is, and here will be gender as a text. Now we need get country, and here it will be a country. The next thing is a message. Of course, it doesn't have here, when we are putting in the map, it doesn't need to have the same order. now we have only programming skills, but let me first programming skills, programming, and we also need to be aware of the syntax error. Okay, now we have put all of the fields in the map. Now what we want to do, we want to scan if there is some errors, and we will write if control statements. These errors will scan the errors if we have them. If errors has errors, what we will do, we can first print something. For example, errors are detected, and if errors are detected, we can return index again, because we haven't submitted the form properly. Okay, I have what's the error here. Okay, just a moment. If errors has errors, I don't know where the problem should be. Okay, let me, it asks to me to enter the body. It's not the problem. Okay, we have some okay, we have a control statement, and what's the problem? Inside we want, okay, I have some error here. I have unintentionally I have opened the double quote in front of the before return, which I didn't do intentionally, and that should be fine. And also, but this statement, okay, it will look, these errors will look for the errors. If find some errors, we will have on the console the message that errors are detected, and the index page will be returned. But of course the function will be broken, will be ended. It will not be broken, it will be ended. And if everything is okay, we can also print something. Entry is completed, and we can return another page which will be welcome, for example. And that should be fine. I think that everything is should be working properly, but let me see if mapping is okay. Okay, it's a post, and here is the, okay, here is the get, and that should be fine. We are done with form controllers, everything should be fine. And now let me close the form information. But what I want to create first, I need to create a views. Under the web inf, I need to create a views folder, and inside I need to create two JSP pages. New, it can be JSP file. We need index, and we also need a welcome JSP file. Okay, we have two files created. One will be for the get, another will be for the post. First, let's work with index. Here we want to create some form. That means that we will need first we will use a Spring form. That means that we need to use a Spring form tags. I will just copy these two links and I will paste them here. Okay, now insert the title. We can write index page, and let's create some form. First we need to write some text. It can be, for example, h3. Enter the form. And let's use break line. And now but it will not be a classic HTML form. We will create a Spring form. That is why we have entered. Now, if we type form, we have this form. This is the form for the Spring tag form. Of course, there is a lot. I will show you how it works. It's similar but not the same of the classic HTML form, but it will help us to complete with the Java classes. And let me give it a little space. Now, what we will start first, we want to enter the first name and the last name. That can be some input. It will be form input, and here we have a path. The path will be the name of the field in the form information, the name of the path, but it needs to be the same like in Java class. It will be first name, and we need a placeholder. That will be the text inside the form. Placeholder will be enter first name. That should be fine. But also we are working with a validation. That means that we will require form errors. We are using form errors. We will have something inside. We need to also write a path. It will be the same first name. That means that these form errors, it means that the message that we have created, for example, if our entry is not properly, the error message should be this one, minimum 2 and maximum 15 letters, but it will run only in the case if we didn't submit the form properly. Otherwise it won't run. Let me return on the index.jsp, and we can do, but after the input we can have one break, and under the errors we can have two breaks, one, two, to give a space between the fields. And I can copy this, and I can do the similar for the last name. I will just change the fields. Okay, the path will be last name, and here we will, as a placeholder, we will write enter last name. And the errors, also the path will be last name, which is perfect. I think that should work properly. The next thing is gender, but gender will not be an input. For the gender, we can use, just a moment, we can use radio buttons, for example, but everything is under the form. And we need to find, here are the radio buttons and the path. The path will be gender. But the problem with gender is because we have added the gender, we have added it to the collection, which is in this case is map, and we need to write it in order to work properly. We need to specify that it's a collection. We need to call it items, and inside the items we need to write a dollar, but under the double quotes we are typing dollar and opening the body, and inside we need to write the name of the collection, which is gender. Okay, and that should be okay. And now when we are done with that, we also now I think that should work properly, but also we need to write, because we have validation of that field, we also need errors. I will copy from here and I will paste it, and the path will be gender. And we need some breaks. I will copy one break from here. I will type one break here and two breaks here. Okay, now it should be work properly, but also before gender will not have a placeholder. That means that I can write some text. For example, without headers, enter gender, or select gender. Okay, now we can, next field should be country, and of course we can, the most logic thing it should be to write a country, but for example we can have a dropping menu and to select the country for the dropping menu, and we can do that. Of course we want to try different fields. Select country, and that can be it can be select form select, here it is. And we need to specify the path. The path should be country. Perfectly. And inside, but before, inside the form select, we need to we can create 4 options only. Form option. Okay, and inside the option we have a value. Inside the value we will write the name of the country. For example, first country can be Hungary. And I will just copy that couple of times. I should copy when the string was empty, but okay, doesn't matter. Okay, we will have 5 options, and now in the other options we will just change the country. For example, second one will be Bulgaria. The third one will be Romania. The next option will be Serbia, my country, and the last option, I don't know, it can be Austria. Okay, here we will not have the form errors because we don't have validation for that field. For example, if default first option is Hungary. If we don't select another option, our country will be Hungary. Okay, we have 2 more fields. Okay, now we can select, and I forgot a break. And let's select skill, and we can do that. It will not be, it can also be radio buttons, but also it can be checkboxes. Let's create form checkbox, and we need to specify the path. Path will be programming skills, but we need to be careful with spelling. And also we need to write some value. Let's write value will be Python. And when the checkbox is done, we can write Python as a text. Perfectly fine. Well, I will see if it's okay. And now we can also have 5 options. We have a Python, and oh, I have deleted. Let me see if paste will work. Okay, it's working. And I will copy it. We will have 5 options to select. Of course, we can add more, and this will not be the gender. The problem is checkbox. We can have multiple select. Second option will be Java, and here we will write Java. Third option will be, oh, I didn't, JavaScript. I have deleted a double quote, I think. Okay, now it's okay. The next option will be React. And I need a last option. The last option will be, it can be Spring Framework. Why not? Spring Framework. And we can type it here, Spring Framework, if we did it properly. And when we are done with programming skills, we need a break. Perfectly. And we have we only need a message, and message can it can have a placeholder. Let me see how we can also use, we have a text area, I think. Let me see, form text area. Okay, and the path will be message. And that should be good. And message also has some validation. I will copy from the gender, and I will. Okay, but I forgot also a placeholder. First, let me resolve errors. Will be message, and here I forgot a placeholder. Or we can have this text, or we can have a placeholder. I prefer placeholder more when we need to input some text, and we will just write enter message, which should be okay. And before form end, we will just create, but it can be simple input button, input, and type should be, here is a text, but it will not a text, it will be submit. and the value, we need some value that will be a text in the inside the button. The value we can confirm or execute. We will write execute, and I think that should be fine. It should be fine if we didn't commit some error. And in the welcome JSP, okay, now I will just write some welcome text. I just want, we have created, we want to see if everything works properly. And let me just, okay, let's try to run. If everything is okay, we should try to run it. Let's see, maybe we forgot something, but before we continue, now we can restore. I will see where is my server. Restore, I think, okay, it's here. Let me run the server. Next. Okay, and let's click on finish to see how it will gonna work. And we have some error. Okay, web index at line 16. Maybe is some syntax. Let me see here. Bind object name command available. Okay, we forgot the. Okay, I know where's the problem. We have forgot the very important things. We have only created a form. That's my mistake. We only have created the form. Let me return to the. I will close the form information. I just need form controller and the index page. Because I forgot, we have created in the form controller our post function. We have some attribute here, which is information, and we have the link, which is /welcome, and we have a post. When we have a post, we need to specify on our JSP when we are posting something, and I haven't completed anything of this. First, the link is /welcome, but we don't need slash in the JSP. Action equals to welcome. That's the first thing. And here we are using model attribute, which is information is in this case. Just a moment. Yes, that's right. Information. It's not an info. This is the name of the model attribute. It's information. Let's write model attribute is information. And we also need to specify the method. The method equals to, when we have a post, we need to specify it will be a post. Let me see if we have, now it should be fine. And now we should try to run it. Just a moment. I just wanted to save. Okay, now I will stop the server and I will restart again. Run on server, and now finish. We will see if we will have more luck now. Of course, Spring applications are a little bit complex, and we always can forget something, but it's okay now. It's open, but I will just copy link from here. I will copy. I think that I have copied the link, and okay, not very good. Okay, there are things that I want to change, but let me just try. Okay, select skill. But let me okay, it doesn't work. We have, okay, the problem is with gender. Just let me a second. What seems to be the problem? Items must not be a null. Okay, one collection is not null, and I suppose that that's a gender. Let me first, I want to return on the previous page validation. Select gender. I need a break, and select country and select skill. I also need a break. Just a moment. Let's go to the index.jsp. Let me see where I select gender, and I need one. First, let's try with one break, and I will use it. In the select country and select skill. We will also have a break, and execute button. We can have two breaks here before the button. Okay, that should be for the view. And okay, just a moment. And we have committed mistake, committed the error in the controller, because we have created some list, some map here. We have added it we have added that map to our index page, but if we that means that cannot be null, and this means we need to put that in to put that map in the also here in the model map in another function. It doesn't matter if we enter something or not. And I will try to, I think the problem is there. Okay, I can copy this couple lines of code from the previous function, and if error is detected, okay, we will print this, and I will paste it here to see. It doesn't matter if we have error, this map of gender that we have created will not be empty. Okay, we will save it, and we will try. I will stop the server, and okay, I can restart from here, and here I will just click on refresh to see if it's gonna be better. And now it's a little bit better, but we don't have CSS here. I will just try to see. Okay, but now I think that everything works fine. As you can see, we have validation messages, but let me try with John. If I type John, okay, now I don't have validation message. I think that should work properly though. Now we will select again gender. Okay, now we don't have validation messages here. Now country and the skill is not required, but it's required is message. But let's select a Python, and the message will be hi there. Then we will improve with CSS a little bit. Now I just want to see if my response will work. Okay, it doesn't work. The welcome JSP is not found, but I don't know what's the problem. Just to see what's the problem. As you can see, when we have errors, we have a text that errors are detected. Now entry is completed, but my mapping is not good. Welcome.jsp, and okay, yeah, it's a syntax error. Welcome should be. And now I will just return, and now I will click with the same data on the execute. And again I have that error. Okay, it's not reloaded. I need to try again. That means that I need to refresh. I need to refresh the page. Okay, but let's write John Doe, female, the country will be Romania, and the skill will be Python, the message will be hi there, and execute, and here is the welcome. And now what we need to do, we need to complete this welcome JSP. Everything is working, as you can see, entry is completed. And now what can I do? If I return, and now this I will delete a message, and the error should appear here, and okay, message is required, and on the console I have the message errors are detected, and that means that our validation is working properly. The next thing I want to do, I want to do this welcome JSP page. Let me just close another tabs, and here what can we do? We can use but I need the C tags. Just a moment. Here I will use a C tags. I will copy them. You will learn how to use them, and I will copy them here. That when I'm using C tags, I can use, we can in the form controller. That means that we can use that variables. Of course, we can use the variables in our JSP files. We can call all of these: first name, last name, gender. Let's start with the first name and last name. I will just type $, and inside the curly braces I will type first name, but it needs to be the same, but it will be like first name, like in the, I will see if it will be properly. First name, last name. Okay, it needs to be first name. Okay, that should be fine. I will just save it, and I will see if it will work properly. Server is running, but it will, I suppose that it will reload. We need to reload. Okay, let's type quickly John Doe. Gender will be male. Okay, let's select one skill. We don't need a message, welcome John, and the last name I have some problem. I haven't, okay, I forgot $. I forgot $. Let me return and try to execute again. Okay, I need to refresh. Otherwise it won't work. Let's try to do it again. Java and Python and Spring will be now the message. Okay, some text, and okay, if we don't restart, I think that it, okay, I haven't saved, and that is why it wasn't, but it doesn't matter. I will continue, and now when we are done with the last name, we can type our gender, but before we need the breaks. I think that we will not have problem now with the gender, and now I will just call the gender. Now what we will need a country, and also a country here. And now, but I forgot a break under the, we can have some break here. And for the programming skills, we will need, it is a list. We need to iterate over the list, but first let me also write one break here too. And now we can create one unordered list, and then we will write like in the Java, it's the same in the JSP. We have, this is a list. Let me see on the form controller. The name of the list is programming skills. Where is the, okay, here is the name of that list. We need to iterate over that list. For the iteration, we will use C for each. That is the key advantage of the C for each tag. And the collection will be called the same like items. Items will be, but need to be the exact name. Otherwise we will have the error. Programming skills. And we also need a name of the single variable. Variable will be, for example, okay, here I forgot to close the double quote. And here is the name of the variable, will be temp skill. I think that we don't have the error, and here we will just call a temp skill, because the temp skill will be the one value from the programming skills, and we will with for each we will pass through the all skills. If it has more skills, all of the skills will be displayed, but we need also one break. And the last thing, when we are done with unordered list, we can also type some breaks. Okay, break. I can have another one, and okay, we have two breaks, and we also need to write a message, and it will be we will call just a message. Now we will see how it works. Let me see, on the gender I could type two dots here, and okay, just to beautify that. I don't think that I have error here. I think that it's some bug of the JSP. I think that we will write everything properly. I don't want to see, I want to just to see if my server is still running on the console. I don't know if it's reloaded, but I will stop the server and I will restart again. And here on the link I will go to the home page. I will try to refresh to see how it will gonna work. Let me return just a moment. Let me see, validation is working now. John Doe will go to the mail, and country will be Romania. Okay, Java and Python. Okay, Python, here it should be JavaScript. I need to change, I forgot to change. And on the execute, let me see. Okay, it's everything okay. It's JavaScript. I think everything is good. I just need to change where is the skills index JSP. I forgot. I need to change here where I have a Python. It should be JavaScript. And what can I do now? We can just implement some. I will just close others. I think everything is working fine. What can we implement? Let's quickly go to the source, and on the main let's create a new folder. We just want to test some CSS. Source, under the main I will create resources folder, and also I will create a new folder which is statics. and under the statics I will just create CSS folder. And inside I can create a file which will be, I can create two of them, for example. Styles.css will be one file, and another file will be new. It will be welcome.css. Now let's click on finish, and let me see on the configuration if I have defined properly the resources. Okay, it's defined properly. Now what should I do now? I will just copy some CSS stuff, because I'm also not an expert of the CSS. I will just copy some CSS text here on these two CSS files, and we will continue shortly. Okay, now I have copied I did some CSS text here. I am not an expert of the CSS, and that is why I have prepared something. It's amateur level. I'm not. I like more to do with a bootstrap, and I will show you that in the next tutorial. But we have some CSS configuration, and we just need, and also welcome will be for the welcome JSP. And now what we need to do, we just need to connect it with our two JSP files. For example, index and styles will be connected. And in the index, just a moment, we have used a Spring form. That means, yes, we have a Spring form. Under the title, we can write a link, like in the previous tutorial, link href, and under the single quote, let's open the Spring URL. Spring URL. Let me close the Spring tag, and we need a value. A value will be equals to just a second. It will be resources CSS, and we will connect styles.css. Okay, we are done with that, and also we need an rel annotation. Rel will be style sheet. And the similar thing we will gonna do, I will just copy from index, and I will copy in the welcome, but no, we need a welcome JSP, not welcome CSS. Welcome JSP I will copy, but you will see one difference. We don't have Spring tags included. Okay, I haven't included Spring tags. I don't know if it will work, but we have C tag properly. We can also, instead of Spring, we can use C tag. That's the main. It will work. I'm not sure for Spring. It can work with Spring if we are including Spring tag library here. And I also in the next tutorial I will learn you how to work easier with just only in one file with all of the tags. But we will leave it for the next tutorial. And I will also change here, instead of style CSS we will have welcome CSS, and I think it should work properly. Now let me see if I haven't stopped the server. I just want to go to the home page. Okay, the color should work only. the only one that should work is a color. Let me just type John Doe because by default we have included color, but the parameters we need to type, and I need to see here. Okay, background color works for both. And let me quickly now let's go to the, now I need to go to the JS. Let's go first index, and the styles. Okay, let's connect them. We need to we have a classes. First we have form class. Okay, that means that here we need to write class equals to form, and that should be fine. We have a title. Title, I think that I made a title for this, enter the form. We will just write class equals to title. That should be fine. And now let's see on the next settings. Simple text, and the text field. I don't know where I have used simple text, but I think I know simple text is here. Okay, this select gender, but I don't know if I need it, really need it, but I haven't used. The problem is that I haven't used. I will use, for example, age 4, or I will leave it. I will leave it. Maybe I don't need this simple text. And text field. Text field I will use here. Let me write the name of the class. Text field. I will use that class on the first and the last name. Class equals, and I will just in the space, and inside I will copy text field, and I will copy that class also here on the last name. That should be fine. Select field, that's for the, I suppose that's for the country. Okay, we have select field, but it needs to be under the double quotes, and we need to write class equals. Okay, now it should be fine. Let me see another text area, that's for the message. Let me copy, and on the message I will write, where is the message? Okay, let me open the, and class equals, and here I will just type message. Okay, that will be text area. Let me see how many classes we have. Okay, we have execute button, execute button. Okay, where is the, okay, here it is. Here is our execute button. Let's write class equals, and it will be execute button perfectly. And on the start we have only a danger, but that danger is for the validation. Now let me, here where we have errors. Okay, for path is first name, and class equals to, it will be a danger only, but it will be, and I will just copy this class equals to danger, and I will copy to, I will paste it to the last name, and I will paste it for the gender. Where is the gender? Okay, here it is. I will paste the, no, not here, not here. It needs to be under the errors. I hope that I didn't commit that. Okay, it needs to be under the errors, and also where message also has errors. Okay, I think that should be fine. Of course, you will have this properly in the my GitHub, and we also need to connect now the welcome. Now we need welcome JSP and welcome CSS. It has only 3 classes. Okay, we have a background color. Okay, that's connected, and we only have this container, and we will create that class. Okay, where body start. Okay, we can write class equals to container, and we have just one more. We have a list. I don't need to paste. Here we have where our unordered list starting class equals to list. And one thing that I forgot, I will just Control Shift and F to order this code a little bit. And also I will do welcome JSP, and I didn't do it. Let me do it on the Control Shift and the F. I forgot to okay, now I think that should be fine. Now I will just try to reload, but we need to go to the home page. Okay, now it's a little bit better, but I told you that I am not a CSS expert. I will just click to see. Okay, now as you can see, validation work with red color, which is great. Now let's try John Daniel. Now it will be male, the country will be Romania, and let's select for everything except Python. We will select hello. There will be a message. It's a little bit prettier. Now we will need to see. As you can see, a validation is working with the red color, and let's on execute. Okay, now it's a little bit better. I really hope if your CSS skills are better, you can do it CSS by yourself. In the next tutorial, I will show you how to work with the boot, especially for those who don't have who has a low CSS skills. Bootstrap will be very helpful, and I will explain you in the next tutorial. Of course, if you have a problem with the code, you can download it. Source code is in the description. You can download the code from my GitHub repository. You can also comment in the comment section. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel, and you can also follow me in the Instagram. You will have a link in the description. And see you in the next tutorial.